Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. I'm joined by Jonathan Voico.
We're doing it live, John. We're doing it live.
Writer, director, producer, Robert Meyer Burnett.
I live in a house full of dynamite.
Oh, boy. And most importantly, of course, guys, you're here to talk about all the things we love in the world of movies and movie news. So let's not waste any time and jump right into it, shall we? You know, they came out with the new 28 years later. Everybody was all excited about it. The trailers for it looked incredibly bonkers. I love the trailers. And then the movie came. And I thought the movie was okay. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I'll be honest, I didn't think it was all that great. It had some great elements to it. Wonderful tension throughout here. Super weird ending. But that was just the ending. But so overall, I thought it was okay. Now, at CinemaCon, they showed us a preview. This is before 28 years later ever came out. They were showing us previews for the sequel.
Right.
Bone Temple. This one being directed by Nia DaCosta. And it looked really good, just like 28 years later did. So I must confess that some of my enthusiasm for 28 years later, The Bone Collector, or The Bone Temple, I should say. Bone Collector is a totally different story.
That's a different movie.
That's a different movie altogether. 28 years later, The Bone Temple hasn't been all that high. So they dropped a new trailer for it today. First official trailer they dropped for it today. This comes to us from comicbook.com. Writing 28 years later doubles down on controversial twist and teases major franchise changes in the new sequel trailer. Now, look, one of the good things, one of the really strong things about 28 years later was the best actor on the planet who doesn't have an Academy Award, Ralph Fiennes. Like, once his character shows up, which isn't until pretty late in the movie, but once his character shows up, I'm like, holy crap, like, this character was fascinating and great. And they really lean into him in this new trailer. Look, I haven't been all that excited for Bone Temple, but I gotta tell you, this trailer to me was bonkers good. I am all of a sudden back on the hype train. And you know what? This trailer even redeems that weird ending a little bit. Because they show a number of the characters that they reveal at the end that was really felt out of place with the rest of the movie. And it kind of fits in with the trailer now, and you see these streams look like they're going to cross over. The trailer was great, and I am suddenly right back on the 28 years later train. This trailer, Rob, has made me look forward to Bone Temple. You saw the trailer. Well, by the way, what did you think of 28 years later overall? And then what do you think about this trailer for Bone Temple?
I liked it more than you did. I mean, I thought it was really interesting. You know, as a horror film, maybe it could have been scarier because, look, 28 days and 28 weeks later have some great, I don't think it hit the visceral scares and thrills of the first two movies, but I was totally enthralled watching 28 weeks later. It was just different than I thought it was going to be, but interesting. Like, I'm a fan of Alex Garland as a writer, and he always takes me places I don't know where I'm going to go. Sometimes more success, like he made Annihilation, coming off of Ex Machina. I wanted to like Annihilation more than I did, but I still liked Annihilation. And, you know, he's got the sole screenplay credit on 28 years later, The Bone Temple. And it looks to me like, dude, like you, I watched this trailer and I'm, hell yeah, bring it on. I mean, that's what I want from horror. I think we've been getting a lot of great horror movies lately. And I think horror is in a pretty good place. But I like to see it taken places I don't know where it's going to go. And I think that's the voice of the king on the trailer. Right. You know, the king from the King's Speech. It sounds so close to the actor, but I imagine it's the actual King of England that they have speaking over the trailer. And then Jonathan was talking about the song. Who did the song?
Oh, yeah, that song was Oh Death. Gosh, I got to think about his name now. But I saw him perform that song. He was an old man by the time I saw him.
Yeah, I mean, again, the marketing campaigns for both of these films are so on point. They so get me excited because, you know, John, I'm always talking about authorship.
Ralph Stanley.
Oh, and when you see authorship in a trailer, you know that you're going, I mean, these trailers, the marketing team, whoever was responsible, give them all the awards because they've done a great job. And this trailer was dope. I can't wait to see this movie. I'm so excited. I think it comes out, they told us, in January.
Oh,
I think that's what they said at CinemaCon, that it comes out in January.
yeah, I'm sure it says in the trailer, and I didn't even pay attention.
I'm just
to
like, no longer are September and January necessarily the dog days of the movies. I
Yeah.
mean, now year round. I mean, this is, look, I love getting excited, not about a gigantic $200 million blockbuster, but something that is a lower budget movie that just has thought behind it. So
Yeah.
even if I don't like it that much, it's still interesting. Like, I didn't love it, but
Yeah,
that was interesting
It's
to
very
me.
interesting. I am going to temper my excitement a little bit just because I was also nutty excited about the 28 Years Later trailers.
Yes, I know. Yes.
I thought they were bonkers and just great. And again, I like the movie. It's definitely got elements that are fantastic. I just, overall was a little bit underwhelmed with it. But who knows? Maybe the sequel, maybe just putting it into the hands of a fresh director like DaCosta, maybe that'll elevate it. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? On yesterday's show, we talked about the fact that we had heard some whispers in the previous weeks that Disney was going to drop some kind of trailer on November or on September 2nd, right? Or September 3rd, I mean. But we never really talked about it on the show. But then Daniel RPK came out and said, Disney dropping trailer September 3rd. So yesterday we were like on the show here and we're speculating, what could it be?
Might it be Doomsday?
Could it be Doomsday? Could it be a Mandalorian Grogu trailer? Could it be a new Zootopia trailer that's coming out soon? Could it be this? Could it be that? Well, we were wrong. We got them all wrong. None of our guesses were correct. Unless you want to count that we said Avatar, Fire and Ash. The word Avatar was in it. Yeah, the trailer they dropped today was for a re-release of Avatar: The Way of Water, as is revealed here on IGN. It's just a trailer for a re-release of a movie, which is really more of a commercial. That being said, which to me is a big bag of nothing. But then I thought for a second, it's like, well, okay, as far as big trailers coming out, that's ridiculous. Why try to pomp up the fact that a Avatar: The Way of Water re-release trailer is coming out? That's a separate issue. Now let's just talk about the issue of them re-releasing Avatar: The Way of Water. I think this is a good move. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think they did the same thing when Way of Water was coming out, that they put the original Avatar. Now, that was a little bit different because the original Avatar, it had been many, many years since that had come out. But you know what? I watched this little trailer advertising the October 3rd re-release of Avatar. I believe it's a 1-week engagement it's getting. And you know what? I just might go back to the theaters to watch this again because I really did like this movie and I've kind of forgotten how much I enjoyed the film. It looks absolutely beautiful and gorgeous.
It's amazing.
And they're saying the whisper, now I don't think it's in the IGN report, but I've heard whispers that attached to it is going to be an exclusive preview of
Would make
Avatar: Fire and
sense.
Ash.
Total sense.
Which would make absolute total sense. Clearly they're putting this out in theaters. The main reason why is to promote Avatar: Fire and Ash.
Yeah.
And it's just going to add to its overall box office total at the same time. And listen, we just saw Jaws on its 50th anniversary make like $9 million, $8 million over the weekend, something along those lines. That's just free money. I think Avatar: The Way of Water will do better than that. And so it's kind of a good idea all around. And you know what? Mark me down as somebody who's going to go see this again because this looked gorgeous on the big screen. Anyway, Rob, how are you feeling about this being the trailer? And then what do you feel about, in principle, just them re-releasing Avatar: The Way of Water?
Well, give it up to Daniel RPK. He did know a trailer was coming from Disney.
A trailer did indeed come. Yes.
Doesn't necessarily float my boat. I understand from a business standpoint, it's great. But look, I don't care what anyone says. I love these Avatar movies. I think that the technology on display is amazing. I enjoy immersing myself in this world. I like the characters. I love to see Jimmy C directing. He's a directing powerhouse. Just, the shot choices from one shot to the next. The way Spielberg can move the camera. James Cameron is the master shoot for the edit, more so than Michael Bay, because he knows exactly what he's doing. I mean, The command of his cinematic language. And if you think about it, the command of cinematic language when you're shooting live action footage where nothing is there.
Yeah.
And he has to be he's a savant like Spielberg is. He just knows cinema. And so watching these films, nobody constructs an action sequence like Jimmy C. Nobody does. Spielberg's action sequences are different. You're going to watching Jaws and seeing him sort of unleashed for the first time under very difficult circumstances. Spielberg is the cinematic master of blocking. The man can take a wide shot and turn it into a close up. I mean, the guy's in a single shot. He just got better and better and better year after year. But there's a reason these movies still work. You know, I know Avatar: The Way of Water is not that old, but I mean, Avatar, you're looking at 16 years.
Still visually stunning.
It's stunning. I mean, this technology is, and I like seeing little baby Sigourney Weaver. She's so cute. Now she's a teenager. But I can't wait to see this movie. Come on, dude. Your goddess has no dominion here.
Here's a question for you, though. We just saw Jaws. Now, granted, it was the 50th anniversary, probably an entire generation's first opportunity to ever see Jaws on the big screen. Maybe their first opportunity to ever see Jaws. So, with Avatar: The Way of Water coming out October 3rd, how do you think it's going to do compared to how Jaws? Can you see it getting into the double digits of millions? Could you see it doing better than that? I don't know how many people are actually going to go. I know I'll be one, but how well do you think it's actually going to do?
That's a good question. I mean, if they do, it depends if they really do have a preview, a long preview for Fire and Ash. I think people will go. I mean, I'd go but you know what? I think the movies now, people want to go and be satisfied. They want to, you always talk about movies are experiential events.
Yeah.
I think people are craving experiential events that are satisfying. Like, I thought F1 was a satisfying experiential event in the theater.
Yeah.
I sat in that movie theater and I was fulfilled. And I think that the movies, like even Companion, low budget movie I saw back in January, that movie fulfilled me. It told me a story, and it told that story in such a way that the entire thing delighted me. Whether you were with weapons or not, weapons, same kind of thing. It was fulfilling. And I think Avatar: Way of Water, even though you've already seen it, you forget until you go to an IMAX theater and see it in IMAX 3D, how fulfilling of an experiential event that movie really is. I mean, yeah, is it long? Sure.
Yeah.
But you sit in that theater and you're just like, it's so astonishing, especially in IMAX, that it just washes over and you're like, I'm on Pandora. At Pandora, I love it. That's what you want from the movies, man.
But I still want you to give an answer. How well do you think it'll do?
How well?
With Jaws,
you know what? I
getting
think
to
it's
10,
going to
what you
do.
think?
I wouldn't. Maybe it'll make $10 million. Maybe.
You know what? I'm going to go a little bit further. I'm going to guess it's going to make over 20.
Could be.
I think there's a lot of people who love these movies, and I think putting this back in, and we're entering into a little bit of a dry stretch right now. I think there are going to be people looking for an excuse to get back to movies for something big, grandiose, and this could fill that palette.
You know what they really need to do?
What's that?
They need to get the K-pop Demon Hunters to actually write music for Avatar: Way of Water and underscore the film, make it a sing-along.
Yes, if all of a sudden in the middle, the Na'vi break into some big pop musical number.
Hey, it's CG. It could happen.
It very well could.
Maybe
All
James
right.
Cameron will stick one in.
Guys, question
what?
is for you. What do you think about this? They've dropped a trailer today for Avatar: The Way of Water, coming back for re-release on October 3rd. I'm actually going to go watch it again myself. It's just too visually beautiful not to see it on the big screen again. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. That down. Every couple of days, we like to ask our viewers on our community tab and our posts tab on our YouTube channel to give us some scenarios for overreaction. The way it works is simple. You guys give us a scenario, and then we simply tell you whether we think that's an overreaction or not. Jonathan's gathered together a bunch of them there. So, Jonathan, what do we got up first?
All right. First up, John, is this an overreaction? Sam Chuman says House of Dynamite might go down as one of Netflix's best movies in their history.
I'm going to say that's an overreaction. Now, the trailer, for those of you who haven't seen it, the trailer and the reviews for House of Dynamite, the new Catherine Bigelow, who I don't think it's a huge stretch. It's not an overreaction to say that she's probably the best female director we've ever had in the business. I mean, when you look at films, just look at her more modern stuff. Hurt Locker. You're talking about Zero Dark 30. You're talking about Detroit, which I think might be her best film, to be honest with you. The trailer looks phenomenal. It's an all-star cast. It very much reminds me of this is kind of the modern day, The Day After Tomorrow. If you guys remember that one. Like to really, it's meant to scare the hell out of us about.
The images are still ingrained in my brain.
Oh yeah, with Day After Tomorrow for
Yeah.
sure. You know what? About a year ago, because we were talking about something.
Wait, you
about
mean
it.
the day after?
The day
What
after.
did I
The
think
day after tomorrow.
Oh, that's another movie.
But that's
altogether.
another good. That's
That
Roland
was
Emmerich.
with,
I
But
like
a very,
that movie
very
too.
different one. The day.
I was like, they're
after.
both kind of the same.
Yeah.
The Day After, the nuclear
Day
holocaust
After.
TV movie they did way back when.
Yeah.
But I remember that traumatized me as a kid. And then I watched scenes again from it like a year ago, some clips from on YouTube, and it's still traumatizing. And that's kind of what
That's
she's
why
going for.
I buy Vault-Tec.
Nice tie-in.
Yeah.
So, but the trailer looks phenomenal. But the reviews are already coming out, and it's in the 80s right now, which is very
Debuted
good.
in Venice.
But yeah, which is very good. But listen, as much as 99.99% of all Netflix original films are total ass, they do have some great ones on their roster, right? And I don't think this is going to be in that conversation. So I'm going to say it could be their biggest film, their best film ever. I'm going to say that's an overreaction. Rob, what about you?
I don't think it's. I don't think so. And I only say that because I'm a huge, first of all, like you, a huge Catherine Bigelow fan. She made one of the best vampire movies ever made, Near Dark. She made one of my favorite science fiction movies made when she was married to Jimmy C. Strange Days, which also has an incredible performance by Ralph Fiennes and Angela Bassett and Michael Wincott and Juliette Lewis and Tom Sizemore. It's got a great soundtrack, and no one's seen it. I love her. I love her movies. I mean, she made a great movie with Ron Silver and Jamie Lee Curtis called Blue Steel.
Yeah.
Ron Silver, who passed away way before his time. You know, I think this movie's going to be in contention for Best Picture.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you know, they are giving it a theatrical release.
I know, for 2
They're
weeks.
giving it a 2-week theatrical release one. Yet another one they're putting out in theaters.
Plus, it's called House Full of Dynamite, which is a great title.
Yeah, it's a good, yeah, or is it House of Dynamite?
I think it's House. Oh, maybe it is House of Dynamite.
I think it's House of Dynamite. Either way, it's pretty good. All right, what's next?
I thought it was on the history of good times. I was confused. All right. So we got do I have the right one here?
Dynamite.
We got next up for Rob. Is this one an overreaction? You let us know. Just some Mexican with a mustache says Avengers Doomsday will make less money than all the Avengers films. Oh, come on.
Put together?
Well,
No. No, I think that's totally an overreaction because I think, if nothing else, the outliers of phases 4, 5, and now 6, whether it's Spider-Man No Way Home, whether it's Deadpool and Wolverine, that have these gimmicks built in them, even to a certain extent, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness made over $900 million. This movie's going to make a lot of money. This movie has the X-Men. It has whatever the Avengers are. It has everybody. You know what's the scene? They should put a clip of Gary Oldman from The Professional, or AKA Leon. Bring everyone. Everyone. And then just cut to the chairs or cut to the.
And then
cut
put
to
John
the,
Reno in it.
I mean, that's all you have to do, even though it's they'd have to. Well, it's Sony, The Professional, so they could license that clip.
Sure, why not?
Make it special. Like, why not do it? I think, if nothing else, as a moviegoer, and if you're a fan of the Avengers at all, or any superhero comic book movie, I don't care if this is a gimmick film, and it is, because Robert Downey Jr. is Doctor Doom. Everyone's going to go see it at least once. And it's not going to be, it could be one of the most spectacular train wrecks ever from Hollywood. But I don't think so. It's still an Avengers movie directed by the Russo brothers. And as you pointed out so eloquently, we have 4 really great Russo brothers comic book movies.
Whenever they've worked with Robert Downey Jr., whenever they've worked with Kevin Feige, they've done so 4 times. And every one of those 4 films are in the conversation of the greatest comic book film of all time.
So it's
There's
not
simply-
an overreaction. I think it's an overreaction.
Yeah, there's simply no reason to believe. Let me put it this way: there's no reason to assume that Avengers: Doomsday won't be good when the team that's making it is literally 4 for 4. Could it be bad? Yes. Saying that Avengers: Doomsday could make the least amount of money of all the Avengers films, though, is not an overreaction. And see, what I would say it's an overreaction is if you say Avengers: Doomsday isn't going to make money. Oh, well, that's an overreaction. I even think it's an overreaction to say Avengers: Doomsday isn't going to make $1 billion. That's a massive overreaction. But the reality is, if you're asking, could it make less than any of the others? The Avengers movie that has made the least amount of money is Avengers Age of Ultron, and that made $1.4 billion. That's more than Deadpool and Wolverine, the biggest box office film we've had in a while. 1.4 billion. Considering the state that Marvel is in right now, do I think it's an overreaction to say that Avengers Doomsday could make less than 1.4 billion?
That's sound logic.
And I think it will make more than that, but I don't think it's an overreaction to say it could make less than 1.4. Again, I can't possibly imagine it making less than $1 billion. No way it makes less than $1 billion. But 1.4, it's possible. So I'm going to slightly disagree with Rob on this, and I'm going to say it's not an overreaction to say it could be the least grossing of the Avengers films. But, I mean, if it's good, don't even get me started about how big Secret Wars could be, because that's another issue for another time. All right, what's next?
Okay, John, we're going to go back at you. Is this an overreaction? Juliana Goodwin says The Pit will win Best Drama at the Emmys.
I don't think that's an automatic, but that ain't an overreaction.
No.
I mean, at this point, I think you got to say that it's probably the front runner. Now, to me, I'm still kind of a little bit ajar. Like, even for me personally, like, is it The Pit or is it Andor Season 2? Like, one day you can ask me and I'll say Andor Season 2 is the best show of the year. Another day I might say The Pit. But, I mean, with, I think, most people in the industry, The Pit is either number 1 or number 2 on their list. So it is absolutely not at all an overreaction to say it'll win best series. Anyway, Rob, what do you think?
I don't think it's an overreaction at all. But, going head to head with Andor, I think it's harder to make a show like Andor than it is to make a show like The Pit, especially because you have such a long history of medical shows, and the people that were involved in The Pit had made ER. And I'm not saying it's easy to make a show as compelling as The Pit, but Andor is a tall order. And to pull off something like that with multiple threads on multiple planets with multiple characters, truly a feat of television excellence. But it's not an overreaction because The Pit's great.
All right, what's next?
Okay, back at you, Rob. Is this an overreaction? Spider-Ham. If Super Mario Brothers 2 movie bombs at the box office, you can count on Zelda movie being canceled or straight streaming.
Okay, those are two overreactions. Okay, first of all, I just want to say...
You got 2 for 1
That's a twofer. That's a twofer. I don't think Super Mario 2 is going to bomb, only because Super Mario 1 proved that the creative team behind the franchise of the Mario Brothers movies knew what they were doing. There was a lot of love and effort, and I would expect Super Mario 2 will probably even be better because they're going to have the same love and effort, and then they know where their weaknesses are.
I had fun with it. It was a fun movie.
And if you love the franchise, and who doesn't love the Mario franchise in whatever iteration you love, all the way back to Donkey Kong, it did a wonderful job of honoring the source material. And I think when you go see it, I had a silly grin on my face the whole time. But then the Zelda movie, I don't think you can equate those two things. I mean, you can say, okay, they're both from the same company, they're both video game derived movies, but I don't think that one has anything to do with the other because, first of all, the Zelda movie's live action, right?
Yeah.
And you're looking at an animated film, so I think they're going to go all in because you have to understand that franchises are their own thing. Just because they come from the same medium of video games doesn't mean that the stories have anything to do with each other. I mean, I love Devil May Cry, but it doesn't have anything to do with The Last of Us. And if The Last of Us was bad, I mean, I'm still waiting for a Devil May Cry movie. I don't know what they would have to do with one another. They're so totally different. A story's a story. So I don't think, look, I have high hopes. John, I'm actually kind of excited for the Zelda movie. I think it could be great if they nail the tone.
They got good writers. They got a good director.
Yeah.
I love the concept. I'm going to absolutely say this is an overreaction. Okay, so let's assume for a second. Okay, let's say Mario Brothers bombs. And I agree with Rob that the last one, I don't know that the new one will make 1.3 billion like the first one did, but it ain't going to bomb. But let's say it did. To say if that one bombs, they're either going to cancel, which they can't cancel because by the time that movie comes out, they'll already be in production of the Zelda movie. So it ain't going to get canceled or be moved directly to a straight to streamer. Like Rob said, one had nothing to do with the other. That's like saying, if I don't like the sandwich, if they make me a bad sandwich at Jersey Mike's this afternoon at lunchtime, the Lakers are going to bench LeBron James next season. one has nothing to do with the other. Like Rob said, like one is an animated thing based on, these cartoony characters. The other is a live action sword and sandal kind of fantasy film. Different writers, different directors, so like Mario Brothers can come out and make $5. It is not going to have any impact, positive or negative, on what happens with Zelda at all. So I will say that's an overreaction. All right, what's next?
Okay, let's see. What's next here? John, is this an overreaction? Sean Conjema says, Wicked for Good will be the next movie to join the $1 billion club.
Well, I mean, okay, theoretically speaking, I think it is the next movie that has the potential to be a $1 billion film. Because like Zootopia, I don't think comes out until the month after it. Then you got Avatar that's later in the year, stuff like that. But I'm going to say it's an overreaction because listen, Wicked was really good and I am not the target audience for that film at all. I didn't go to see it on stage. My wife went to go see it several times. She loved it, but I never went to bother to go see it. It's not for me, but I did go to see the movie. And I got to tell you, John Chu rocked the hell out of that movie. He really did. He did a great job with it. It was a wonderful film. Movies are experiential events, or as they said in the studio, somebody in the studio said it better. We want movies to make us feel something. And Wicked did it. It's a really good movie, and the sequel will be really successful. But I think what the first one did is what we can expect from the second one. And I know this may sound like not a big deal, but the fact that in the first one they could lean into the song, the most popular song out of Wicked, they leaned into that like heavy through the whole marketing campaign. They don't have that for the second film. It's not in the second film. And that's going to be important in the marketing. So I can see it making $700 million, $800 million. But I think it's an overreaction to think it's going to get to $1 billion. Anyway, Rob, what do you think?
First of all, I don't think it's an overreaction because it's a possibility. It's not like if you were to say the Bone Temple was going to make $1 billion. I'm like, come on. But because it's got a possibility, I would not call it an overreaction. Do I think it's going to actually get to $1 billion? Like you pointed out, probably not. I would imagine they're writing a few new songs for the movie since the play itself kind of doesn't end on a...
Did they? I asked this as somebody who never saw the stage play. Did they include new songs in the first movie that weren't in the stage production?
I don't think so, but I don't know.
You think they might do that for the second one?
I think they might have to. Maybe. I mean, it by definition, it's not exactly. It's going to end on a feel good note, but I think they might. But I think there's a possibility, so I don't think it's an overreaction.
All right, what's next?
Okay, Rob, this is going to go back to you. Is this an overreaction or not? When Tequilero says, 007, Alien Earth is the best movie to TV series adaptation of all time.
Okay, I'm enjoying Alien Earth. I haven't watched the 5th episode yet, but I would say that is an overreaction because the best movie to television series recreation of all time is MASH.
I am going to say it's not an overreaction. First of all, MASH.
He says of all time.
Yeah, of all time. I'm going to say it's not a reaction to say it's this. Now, MASH, the TV show, I mean, granted, I was watching reruns when I was a kid, but MASH as a TV show was also very different from the movie. The movie, which was a comedy, it was also a war drama kind of all at the same time. And while there was elements of that too, MASH was kind of a recreation of the movie, if you will. And it was great. But listen, I'm telling you
10 years, biggest television audience for its last episode.
I know. But
this is 8 episodes.
I'm going to call it. I think this Alien one is the best movie to TV adaptation ever. I don't think it's an exaggeration. You know what? Last night I was watching the new episode. I was telling Rob this before we started the show. And it starts off with revealing to us this episode's a flashback of what happened on the ship before it crashed onto Earth in episode 1. And I remember turning to Ann, I'm like, oh God. I almost thought skipping it. Like, I hate these little flashback episodes. And I audibly said, I might skip this, whatever. And it's like, I don't care about, like, all I know, the crew's dead. So who cares what happens on the ship? But as soon as the episode was done, I text Rob. And I'm like, this was the best episode
Yeah,
yet.
you did.
I couldn't believe
I
how
was
good it
moving
was.
furniture for my in-laws, so
Oh my God. I lost my mind. Just like how good this thing is. Again, I've kind of waxed poetic about the fact that it's found a way to be that blend of the tense sci-fi horror of Alien with the sci-fi action thrills of Aliens and really merge them together. The character work has been fantastic. The expanding of the mythology of the Yutani Weyland Yutani thing with everything else has been fantastic. So you know what? And I will propose this, Rob. You only gave one example. Maybe this is because that's all you wanted to give the time to it. But if you can only pull out one show out of our pockets to say maybe this one is a better all time, then it's not an exaggeration. If you're saying this is in the top 2, that's not an exaggeration to say it may be the best one of all time.
No, that's true, but I haven't really thought about it.
Yeah,
you know,
I haven't given a lot of thought either.
I mean, there's a lot. Here's the thing. You have to think about, if you're talking about, like, we on this channel, we're imagination connoisseurs. We like science fiction, fantasy,
Yes, we
horror,
do.
superheroes. We like all those things. I mean, I would say one of my favorite movie to television adaptations is Fame. Alan Parker's 1980
yeah.
Fame. That TV show, or another great TV show, which is a great movie to TV adaptation, is The Paper Chase. But all of these shows are from 40 years ago.
I had no idea they made that into a show.
Oh, yeah. And The Paper Chase, see, that's the thing. The Paper Chase series was great. Not only is it great, it jumped like Fame, interestingly enough. They were early shows that went from their original networks. The Paper Chase show wound up on Showtime. It went from network to cable.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and but nobody remembers these shows because most of our audience wasn't born. So I understand that. And that's not, don't say, okay, boomer. I'm not a boomer. I'm Gen X. Get it right. But I do think that there's a lot of, I just haven't thought about it. But those are two off. When I was a kid, I loved The Paper Chase and I loved Fame. And what was interesting, that Fame, they even brought some of the actors from the movie to recreate their roles.
Yes, they did.
On the show, which was wild. But they did it.
Didn't Debbie Allen do the movie and the show?
Debbie Allen was in she recreated her character for the show. She became a choreographer, and some of the characters left and came back. It was really interesting, but that show is really good.
All right. What's next?
All right, last one up, John. This one's coming back at you to wrap things up. Is this an overreaction or not? Moitzo says the Avengers Doomsday trailer will be the most important trailer in Marvel Studios history.
It's not an overreaction. I would say you have hit it right in the bullseye. Now, a year or so ago, well, closer to 2 years ago now, because of the particular state the MCU was in, I made an argument that the upcoming Deadpool and Wolverine trailer could quite possibly be one of the most important trailers ever, because the MCU was in a bit of a state. They really needed this one to be a hit and to be big, and they did. And that has held them over for some other swings and misses that Marvel has done, because even in the midst of all that, you got a $1.3 billion Deadpool and Wolverine that everybody loved and all that kind of stuff. This is an Avengers movie. This is, I will propose to you guys, this is going to be the first Avengers movie ever that is coming out when belief in the MCU is a little shaky. Every other Avengers movie that came out, whether you're talking about Joss Whedon's first one, Age of Ultron, Infinity War, Endgame, they all came out when hype and belief and buzz and excitement around the MCU was all quite positive and quite high. This is the first Avengers film ever that's coming out when that's kind of shaky. They need this movie to be a hit. And if they're going to get there with the way everything is and the way everybody right now, Rob, are like vultures circling a dying gazelle. Everybody's just waiting to say how this is going to suck. Everybody's just waiting to say this is going to be a failure. They're all circling. And guess what? There's a little bit of those vultures in all of us. They desperately need this first trailer to knock it out of the park. It doesn't have to be the greatest trailer of all time or anything like that, but it needs to be a trailer that does what Bone Temple trailer just did for me. It's like, I'm a little shaky on my belief on the 28 years later thing. And this isn't the best trailer I've ever seen, but hey, all right. To quote The Thing, all right.
All right.
Okay. It got me back on board. This trailer, because man, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. This trailer comes out and underwhelms everybody. It's going to set the tone for, the mood of the entire fan base of rolling it. You want people rolling into Doomsday with optimism. You want people rolling into Doomsday with belief. You want people rolling into Doomsday with excitement. I always say that the difference between the MCU of a bunch of years ago and the MCU today was before every MCU movie that was coming out, we expected to be great. Today, when an MCU movie comes out, we hope it'll be good. They need people rolling into Avengers Doomsday expecting it to be great, and that is completely going to, I don't mean to overplay it or anything, but that mood, that wave, Rob, that tide is going to be completely established by how people respond to that first trailer. And so I will say it is not an overreaction to say this is the most important trailer they have ever put out in their history whenever it comes. Rob, what do you think?
John, I think you're absolutely right. And I hear the immortal words from The Lonely Island.
I'm sorry, somebody in the live chat said, will the trailer include chairs?
I think that I wanted to quote my favorite philosophers over at The Lonely Island. I think this trailer needs to make me jizz in my pants. And if it does not, if it's not going to work. This thing, it does have to be the most, I don't know, that was not my O face, just so you know. This has to be, in all seriousness, this has to be one of the most overwhelming, kick-ass, awesome. I mean, it has to do so much, but basically, if you don't hit play again on this trailer, it failed.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be the greatest trailer of all time, but I think you're right. If it's not a trailer that makes people go, oh, let's watch that again, I think you're right.
Yeah, it has to be, and it could even be a conceptual trailer. Remember the trailer they did for Endgame with it was almost black and white, and you hear
the different characters' voices.
It began as an ideal.
Repeating Nick Fury's lines. That was great.
That was
great.
That was a great trailer. And if they give us, the problem is we don't have the recognition of the characters anymore because we don't have our core team. But something along those lines, and because they do have things, when you see Ian McKellen as Magneto and you see Xavier, I don't know what happens in this movie. I've read, who knows what the rumors are, but they have enough ammo with this movie that they should be able to give us something that we're floored by. If we're not, they're dead in the water.
Yeah, listen, somebody just said in the live chat, and I'm glad they brought it up. Somebody mentioned that first Dark Knight trailer. Do you remember the first Dark Knight trailer? It was just the slowly panning out, and it's the logo of
and
the city.
Everything was falling.
And you hear the dialogue from the movie. If they put out an early little teaser like that, where it's just slowly the letters are turning and it says Avengers Doomsday, and you just hear some characters saying line from previous movies, I won't count that as the first trailer.
It's a teaser.
That's literally even less than a teaser.
An announcement.
Yeah, exactly. It's an announcement. So I won't count that one. I'm talking about the first legitimate trailer where we actually see footage from the movie and character, and we're starting to get introduced a little bit about what the movie's about. The first actual trailer. Rob, I don't think it's an exaggeration or an overreaction to say, I don't think there's ever been a trailer in the history of Marvel that has more riding on it than this first trailer.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something else. They do have the goodwill. Everyone's curious to see what it is.
Yeah.
So we might have no confidence in the MCU. We might have been disappointed, even though I would say that Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, in hindsight, are going to be considered pretty great movies. And once Fantastic Four is being able to see it over and over again, I think its level of affection. But everyone's going to tune in to watch this trailer, even if they're tuning in like this. Oh, really? What do you have for me? They're going to tune in, even though they want to hate something, which means if you can win those people over, then you have something. I don't envy their. That's a big task. John.
Okay. Somebody in the live chat just gave me my O face. Picture this, Rob. First trailer, just some shots, action. First trailer.
Wait, am I going to need Kleenex for this?
No, maybe.
Okay.
I know I do. So, here's some shots of some action, blah blah. First trailers never give too much of a story away, which is perfectly good. So the blah da 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 da, showing all this stuff, and then it's in a room and kind of a camera angle from the floor, looking up to the wider part of the room, and you see 4 or 5 of the Avengers characters, maybe Sam Wilson, maybe I don't know, Red Guardian, maybe Thor standing there, and them just saying, "Come out." And then out of the shadows steps Steve Rogers. Yeah, that's sploosh. That's for me. I'll be at that point. I will be fucking.
You just
sold.
gave the internet a gift today.
I will lose my mind.
You know what? I don't think. Is it an overreaction to think that might actually happen? I don't think so. Because remember, there's a whole time factor and there's multiverse where Steve Rogers can come right back from where he went back into the past.
100%.
And if he did so to give up, he had a life with Peggy Carter. And now that he had that life, he could give it up again. So it's erased from time. Like there's a reason you could bring him back and you realize this was more important.
Yeah. Or we could walk away completely underwhelmed and going, well, this movie's in trouble. All right, guys, that will wrap up today's little installment of Overreaction. Thank you to everybody
with
for
faces.
Yeah. Overreaction.
Overreaction. Thank you so much for sending in those comments. Remember, guys, keep your guys' eyes open on the YouTube channel for when we put out the call for you guys to send in submissions, and we will always pick out a bunch of your submissions every day. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? It was 6 years ago. This summer marked 6 years since at Comic-Con, Kevin Feige stood on stage and said, "Oh, one more thing," and brought out Mahershala Ali and announced that he was going to be Blade. 6 years ago, that was. And Mahershala, and at the time, I remember going, my God, this is a 2-time Academy Award winning actor. This is two-time, one of the best guys on the planet. He's going to be great, but I do wonder a little bit. I said at the time, he's 45. He's 45. And I wonder, which is still young, definitely to play in a movie, but is he young enough to play the character for another 15 years or whatever? Whatever. That 45-year-old guy is now 51. And they still don't have a script.
And it takes 2 years to make movies like
this. It takes a while to get it going. Once they do get a script, then they got to do pre-production. And by the time they actually start rolling cameras, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say Mahershala Ali could be 53, whatever. So there have been whispers for months now, for over a year, that maybe Mahershala Ali might be stepping away from playing Blade, whether it's because of contractual obligations, scheduling conflicts. At this point, I mean, could be a lot of reasons he would step away. But Kevin Feige keeps saying, no. Mahershala is our guy. We're going to make a Blade. We just want to make sure we do it right. Saying all the right things and all that kind of stuff. But something interesting happened yesterday that has really got the conversation going a little bit more. For you guys who remember, yesterday, Marvel released the trailer for their upcoming Marvel Zombies, which I can't remember. Is that like a 3 or 4 episode series or is it a movie? I can't remember, to be honest with you. But they released a trailer for it. Florence Pugh is doing the voice of Yelena. Shang-Chi is the voice of the actual actor. a number, like a whole bunch of them, as they used to do with What If. Well, we got our first look at Blade in the trailer. Blade Knight, they're calling him. But you know who was not doing the voice of Blade? Wasn't Mahershala Ali. Now, not every single character that has been represented in What If has always and necessarily been voiced by their movie counterpart, but most of the time they were. Most of the time they were. So let me say this. Does Mahershala Ali not doing the voice of Blade when Simu Liu, Florence Pugh, like all these other people are coming in and doing their voices, does that automatically 100% mean that Mahershala Ali's days as potentially being Blade are over? No, I don't think so. I don't think just that necessarily automatically means it's not true. But it certainly does get you wondering. Because Kevin Feige has been asked a lot over the past couple of years, are you still doing this movie, and is Mahershala Ali still the guy? There has never been, in the last number of years, a better opportunity for Kevin Feige to really lay that down than to say, oh, here's our new trailer. And by the way, Mahershala Ali doing the voice of the trailer. Because you know what? Mahershala Ali only needs about 3 hours. Come into the sound booth. Here's the lines we need you to read. Read those lines. Great. You're done. You're wrapped. We're going to edit these into the show. You're good to go. There was not a more wide open, most easily set up out for Kevin Feige to put to rest this whole thing that Mahershala Ali's still our guy. He's still Blade. Than to simply come in for a couple of hours one afternoon, record some lines of dialogue and be good and say, see, he's our Blade. So do I think him not being the voice of Blade automatically means he's done as Blade? No, not necessarily. But I'll tell you what, Rob, today, I am less a believer that he's going to end up being Blade than I was 2 days ago because of it. It just seems to me there was absolutely no rational explanation when you have all these other characters but coming back and doing their voices. If you're actually going to have Mahershala Ali as Blade, I cannot think of a single legitimate reason. Like if it took 5 months of filming, I would get it. You needed 3 hours. I can't think of a single reason not to have him come in. So automatically he's out? No, that's an overreaction. But again, Rob, today I less am inclined to believe that he's actually going to be Blade now than I was 2 days ago, because I can't think of a good excuse why you don't have him do the voice. Anyway, you see this. There's some people talking about this online today, like, why wasn't Mahershala the voice? Does it do anything to your belief, positive or negative, about Mahershala being Blade in a live action thing, considering he didn't even do the voice for this?
I have to say, in this particular instance, not really. Only because the only time we've ever heard Mahershala Ali at all doing the character's voice is at the end of Eternals, which is just for a moment. And he's never played the character. And the Blade incarnation that we're watching on this show is not really Blade, I don't think. Like we talked about, it's like a hybrid.
It's the What If universe.
Yeah, it's a hybrid character. And since he hasn't actually played Blade yet, there's no inclination for him, because most of the characters that come and recreate their voices, we've seen before. We've seen in movies before. We haven't actually seen, and I don't think that Mahershala Ali is necessarily going to be charitable, nor if he was charitable, I don't think his lawyers, his agents, and his manager would be like, oh yeah, go do 3 hours in the voiceover booth, because all that would do is fuel the fact that he's still playing Blade. And I'd be like, no, I'm not doing that. They haven't even put a movie together for me in 6 years, and I'm a multiple Academy Award winner. How hard can it be? And we know from the Designing Hollywood interview that I did with Ruth Carter, who later went on to do Sinners, that she was deep into designing a period costumes from the 1920s that she was able to repurpose for Sinners. So we know that they were deep down that road. And it's like, I don't think Mahershala Ali is in any hurry to do any favors for Marvel. Even that by itself, if your relationship is so strained that saying, hey, in 5 months,
would you mind coming into the studio for 2 or 3 hours one day?
Yeah.
If your relationship is so strained that you're going to say no. By the way, here are characters from the MCU that have done the voices of their animated counterparts. Haley Atwell, Chris Hemsworth, Tom Hiddleston, Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, Benedict Cumberbatch, Paul Rudd, Michael Douglas. Michael Douglas did it. Mark Ruffalo, Karen Gillan, Sebastian Stan, Frank Grillo, Josh Brolin, Samuel L. Jackson, Jeremy Renner, Dominic Cooper, Kat Dennings, Tessa Thompson, Denai Guerrera, Michael Rocker, Kurt Russell. You couldn't get for one day. And so I don't think you're wrong in your assessment, Rob. I'm just saying, even with your assessment, that tells me if Mahershala is sitting back, it's like, I don't even know if you guys are going to get me my movie made. I don't feel like doing any favors for you. That doesn't sound like a happy household to me.
No.
So,
but then again, he hasn't played the character. You know, he hasn't played the character yet.
He hasn't played the character yet. But we've known for 6 years it's supposed to be his
that's
character.
the thing. If you can't figure out how to make you've got 3 other Blade movies to look at to see what works and what doesn't. And the fact that you can't get a Blade movie, when you even have David Goyer, who wrote The Dark Knight, going, hey, I did write those other Blade movies, so if you need some help, I'll toss off one of my ideas to you. I mean, it's just, I think the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I think they just didn't know what to do. I honestly believe, because incorporating that much supernatural into the MCU, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. Even I've been saying, like, do the undead, did they get snapped away when Thanos snapped his fingers? I mean, I know it seems silly to say that, but you've got to understand.
But it's all life, and they're not alive.
Well, right. But
what happens with vampires?
But they still are predators that are feeding on a certain amount of resources. So that's the thing. I don't think they ever thought that through. And I think part of the problem they've had is, okay, if this is true about vampires and they existed in the 1920s, where are mutants? Where are superheroes? Where's the rest? How did this happen? And what does that mean? Are there lots of, because Blade doesn't just come along with vampires. He comes along with a lot of other stuff. I mean, the X-Men fought Dracula. So how do you do that? I think they realized, oh, this isn't as easy as we thought.
All right, guys. Well, listen, at the end of the day, for me, I don't think this automatically means that Mahershala Ali is not going to be Blade. It's just that for me, the accumulation of 6 years, 4 different sets of writers and 3 different directors and whatever else, now combined with the fact that you can't even get him to come in for a couple hours to do the voice on this, it just makes me believe less that he's going to be our Blade ultimately. Anyway, guys, whatever you think, do you still firmly believe he's going to be our Blade? Do you believe he's not going to be our Blade? Are you like me, kind of in the middle, but leaning kind of one way? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. Boom, dropped out of nowhere this morning. It was made official by James Gunn. Superman. The next Superman movie, this coming from the Hollywood Reporter, Man of Tomorrow, has been announced as his follow-up, and we've got a release date of July, not 2029, not 2028, July of 2027. For those of you keeping score, that is less than 2 years from now.
And before Blade.
And before... Ouch. And before Blade, we're going to get Superman's next movie, Man of Tomorrow, in less than 2 years. Hollywood Reporter writes the following. As James Gunn continues his victory tour, James Gunn has unveiled the next project in his Superman saga. Man of Tomorrow will be in theaters July 9th, 2027. So we're like 20 months from now, or 22 months from now. The filmmaker revealed on Instagram on Wednesday. The announcement was accompanied by a drawing by DC head Jim Lee. By the way, a drawing specifically made for this announcement, which we'll look at in a second. Had Jim Lee featuring Lex Luthor in a green and purple mech suit, which those of us are very familiar with Superman leaning against him with a smile on his face, and he holds a screwdriver. Luthor's armored suit designed to battle Superman has been seen for decades in the comics and in animation, but never in live action. I'm going to scroll down here so we can take a look at it. There's the announcement. This is what James Gunn put out on social media today. And you can see down there Jim Lee's name, 2025. So you know Jim Lee made this specifically, I think, for this little announcement. I believe, I could be mistaken about that. So James Gunn announces, puts it right in the image. James Gunn, Man of Tomorrow, in theaters, July 9th, 2027. All right. There are several reasons why I'm super excited about this. Number one, in no particular order, I think the very first thing I said to Rob, when Rob and I went to our first screening of Superman, after we came out of the theater, we're both smiling. And I turned around and said, the only thing that pisses me off is we're probably gonna have to wait like 4 years for the next to see him as Superman.
Yeah.
Because we kind of live in an age where you got to, at minimum, wait 3-4 years to get your sequel done. Unless it's part of a franchise in a series and they shoot them back to back or whatever. But for the most part, we live in an era where, hell, we got to wait 4 years, 3 years between seasons of television. And instead, we are getting this in less than 2 years from today. So I love that. I absolutely love it. Number two, James Gunn brought with him a promise of using a lot of comic book stuff, maybe even more so than previous iterations and different people have done. I think a lot of people have been waiting to see this outfit of Lex Luthor, him in this outfit. As a matter of fact, I remember before Justice League came out, that toy set came out and had all the characters from Justice League, but it included a Lex Luthor in that battle suit, which obviously was never in the movie, but that got people really excited. So obviously this is going to lean very heavy into Lex is still going to play a very, very big part of this. Dude, and listen, you guys know how much I love Superman. I love this movie. Again, Man of Steel is still probably my favorite Superman movie overall. But I can't even begin to tell you how happy I was about this Superman and how it turned out and how great it was, and just a big triumphant launch for a brand new cinematic universe, digging itself out of the heap pile of rubble left in the ruinous wake of the DCEU. It ain't an easy job to claw your way out of that dump heap. And yet they did it. And I am excited about this. Now, I will also say this. I'm still kind of worried that James Gunn is doing it. Not because I don't think he did a great job of Superman. He did. I just don't think he can properly do his job as the co-CEO of this company while also being completely 24 hours a day, completely wrapped up in making another movie. I think he's the guy to run DC. I do. But if you want to be the director, go be a director. Direct all the movies if you want, but let somebody else run the creative stuff, which is not what his partner is there to do. You know, he's not there to run the creative. James Gunn is. James Gunn is supposed to be the creative head of this dragon. And you got Peter Safran there to handle more of the behind the scenes, business aspects of it and stuff like that. And that's great. But so I'm still a little bit worried about that, but you know what? I will let myself worry about that later. Today, I'm going to let myself just be happy about the fact that we got this announcement. Brand new film. I love the way he announced it too. So casually on a Wednesday. Oh, I'm just going to leave this right here. Little sketch I had Jim Lee make up for me of Lex Luthor in his battle armor and Superman. I'm just going to have to announce a release date for less than 2 years from now. I'm stoked about this. So, Rob, that now means we just had Superman. Peacemaker is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm getting so excited for Lanterns. I can't wait for Supergirl. I'm really damn curious about this Clayface thing. The fact that it was written by Haunting of House Hill guy.
Flanagan.
Flanagan. Mike Flanagan is like more than fascinating. And now we've got this thing announced. They're off to a great start. They're rolling. And I'm loving what I'm hearing. Anyway, Rob, you've heard this announcement this morning, just dropped. What do you think about it?
I just want to be make a little correction to Variety, talking about the fact that Luthor's armored suit has never appeared in live action. There's a filmmaker named Sandy Kalura who made Batman Dead End, where it's a Joker, Batman, Alien, Predator movie, debuted at Comic-Con. He made a trailer for a World's Finest movie with his Superman and Batman in live action, he built one of those suits, and it was dope. It looked awesome.
I cannot wait to see
it. It looked awesome in live action. So I love that green armored suit. I love it. And now with all the technology and the things that they can do, to see that suit in live action the way I don't know if it's going to look like what Jim Lee drew, but we all kind of know what it's all kind of look the same with the high back and stuff. Yeah, come on, dude. Look at that. Look at that. I want to see that. Because unlike like in Superman Returns, you know, one of the big criticisms was Superman doesn't fight anybody. Well, how can he fight somebody? But that's why Batman wore the armored suit in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. You put Luthor in that suit, they can go toe to toe. He doesn't have to fight Ultraman.
By the way, I
loved
loved that fight. I don't care what anybody else says. I love that.
Oh, it was dope.
I thought
it was a great fight. But I want to see. I mean, Luthor's young. He's got the technology. They can beat the hell out of each other. Not that, you know. I just. Oh, come on! Look at that. That's your Japanese manga anime version. Give me that suit. Hell yeah. Take them to war. They should go to War World and fight. Like Mongo. Mongo gets them both and brings them to War World and puts them up, you know, Sunday. The fight of the century. The fight of the galaxy right here.
By the way, I just want to throw this in here too. This is setting up a rather fascinating 2027 when it comes to comic book films. Because as of this morning, this is what 2027 looks like. We got Beyond the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, the follow-up to the two best Spider-Man movies ever made. Beyond the Spider-Verse set for June 25th, 2027. Now, 1 month after that, we're going to get Superman Man of Tomorrow for July of 2027. Just a couple of months after that, we're getting the Batman Part 2 on October 1st, 2027. And there's then just a couple of months after that, we're going to be getting Avengers Secret Wars in December of 2027.
I think there's going to be one more Marvel movie in there too.
Well, they do have a date that's held in there. I don't think they're going to drop one in there, but they might. They might. But as of right now, look at that lineup. Like this isn't just, there's no filler in this.
No.
Beyond the Spider-Verse could end up being the best film out of this lot. Man of Tomorrow could end up being the best film of this lot. The Batman 2 very well could end up being the best of this lot, and Avengers Secret Wars could vary. These are 4 bangers.
Bangers.
And I mean, what a year that's shaping up to be. I mean, I don't know if Avengers Doomsday sucks.
That's maybe. My old face.
I mean, now you just slide in there Man of Tomorrow. I mean, this is great for me. Rob, we see this roadmap now is starting to coalesce. It's starting to come together. You know, again, we've already talked about Superman, Supergirl, Lanterns, Peacemaker. We got Clayface coming. Now we know we've got this on the run. So let me ask you this. With Man of Tomorrow coming out less than 2 years from now, who are we going to get a big official announcement of first? Wonder Woman, DCU's Wonder Woman, or DCU's Batman? What do you think?
I think we're going to get Batman first. Only because we have a Supergirl movie coming out. And I think, look, I'd love to see, although I would, okay, here's the thing. Let me amend this. I think it's possible that we get an announcement of who's playing Wonder Woman, but they're going to put a Batman movie into production first, whether it's Brave and the Bold or whatever it is. Because I think that they've been working on that script for a long time, and I think they know what they're going to do. So I think, because it wouldn't surprise me if whatever Wonder Woman, like they could tease the Wonder Woman character like they did in the end of Superman. They gave a Supergirl a tease.
Yeah.
They could add a scene with this new Wonder Woman to a Supergirl movie or whatever. And I do think that we're going to see more of those kinds of things happening. Look, I'm really excited the fact that they're really building a universe.
Yeah.
They're not making it on a film-by-film basis. They're really building a universe, and they're constructing it, building it out, and it's pretty robust. I mean, Peacemaker leads into Lanterns, leads into Clayface, leads into Supergirl. I mean, we're not going to get Supergirl before Clayface, but leads into Supergirl, then Clayface, then Superman. So they've got stuff cooking. I mean, it's good that they've got multiple things on multiple fronts happening. So that's exciting. Mm-hmm. We truly are getting a universe.
Yeah. We are, and listen, I think we may see Batman and Man of Tomorrow. I'm gonna throw that. I think we may get our first.
Well, I
look
was
at
wondering if
Batman
we
and
see Wonder Woman in Man of Tomorrow.
Yeah, that
And
might be our
I
too.
think the title Man of Tomorrow is going to have many meanings, and I don't think it just refers to Superman.
Ooh.
Who is the Man of Tomorrow?
Well, that traditionally
Because-
that is Superman.
But she has said that it's not a traditional, like it's more of a family movie. I think the question is,
But he's still calling it part of the Superman saga.
I know, I think he's being cheeky with that title. I think that that question is going to be posed. What is the Man of Tomorrow? Is it a guy like Luthor? Is it a guy like Superman? Is it a guy like Bruce Wayne? Is it a guy like Jon Stewart? I think that's actually a question. Now, they're not going to say that, but I think the movie's going to deal with that.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? They dropped the bomb this morning. James Gunn announcing Man of Tomorrow with a big image of Superman and Lex Luthor. And we've got a release date, and it's way sooner than I thought it would be. It is less than 2 years away now, coming in the summer of 2027, in a year with a bunch of, within 6 months, within a 6-month window in 2027, we're going to get Beyond the Spider-Verse, Man of Tomorrow, Batman, The Batman Part 2, and Avengers Secret Wars. All within 6 months of each other. Anyway, whatever you guys feel about this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, it's time for us to move on to the most important part of our show, which is taking your live comments and questions. How do you send in a live comment or question for the John Campea Show? Well, it's simple. Simply use our tip link at www.streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. Send it on in, and as long as we deem it appropriate to be used on the show, we'll go ahead and answer it. And by the way, the tip link is good 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you're listening to our show on a podcast feed like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or if you're watching this show a little bit later in the day, you can still send in a question whenever you like. And if you send one in when we're not live, we'll just get around to answering it on the next episode. All right, 2 things we got to do before we get to your questions. The first of which is bidding good afternoon to writer, director, producer Robert Meyer Burnett. Great job as always, man.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to go home and watch Alien Earth episode 5.
Oh, text me immediately.
I will text you immediately.
Because I loved it. And the second thing we're going to do is thank the sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show, the folks over at the Wednesday Wocast.
Hey guys, John here. If you're dying for the next batch of Wednesday Season 2 to drop on Netflix, then I'll let you in on a secret. The Wednesday Season 2 official Wocast is already here. Prepare to dive deeper into the mysteries of Wednesday with the ultimate companion video podcast. Join the frightfully funny Caitlin Riley, along with her producer, Thing, as she sits down with the marvelous cast and crew. Together, they'll unravel shocking twists, dissect the dynamics lurking beneath, unearth the deep Addams Family lore, and answer all of your lingering questions that simply refuse to stay buried. Guests include Emma Myers, Joy Sunday, Steve Buscemi, Fred Armiston, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and of course, Jenna Ortega. With 8 delightfully dark episodes to devour, you'll be drawn deeper into the haunting halls of Nevermore Academy than ever before. But be careful, you know where curiosity often leads. The Wednesday Season 2 official Wocast is available now in audio and video on Todoom.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you find your podcasts. You've been warned.
All right, guys, let's get on to your questions now, shall we? Jonathan, what we got up first?
Toby McGuire says, with the word day seemingly being the new keyword for the new Spider-Man films, the same way that home was for the last 3, do you think they will adapt the infamous Spider-Man One More Day comic book? Also, I'm not crazy about the film's title.
Well, I mean, generally speaking, I never care about a title. Yes, I can think a title's a good title, or I can think a title's a bad title. Ultimately, it doesn't really mean anything, and it doesn't do anything. Now, I've always said this, though. It's impossible to really gauge how good or bad a title is until we see the movie, right? Because I'll be honest with you, I'm trying to remember what the name of the movie was, but I recently saw a film, and I'm like, that title had, I remember what it was. It was, I think it was Jurassic World. What was the name of the newest Jurassic World movie? It was Jurassic World something. I can't even, that's how forgettable that movie is to me. I can't even remember what the name of the last one is. But I remember I came out of it and going, wait a minute. Oh, it's Jurassic World Rebirth.
Yeah.
Literally, that had no meaning to this movie at all. There was nothing, there was no plot point about, we're going to try to bring back, or we're going to try to bring this one back to life, or give a No, it was just a word. It was just a word. Had nothing to do with the movie. Terrible title. But as far as Spider-Man Brand New Day goes, like, we're going to literally have to see the movie first.
Jurassic Park refund.
Yeah, that's right. Remember somebody said that during the show, Jurassic World refund. I'm going to need to see the movie before we actually go whether this was a good title for it or not. So I'm not going to jump the gun on that. I don't suspect, though, that Day is now going to be the new titling mechanism. Like, I don't expect that whatever Spider-Man 5 is going to be, I don't think it'll be Hard Day, Spider-Man, End of Day, Spider-Man, FU Day. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be that. I mean, they did do that with Home in the first 3, but I don't think they're going to continue that on. All right, what's next?
Norman Osborn, because he's from Australia. All right. Pure speculation, as we don't know what James Gunn is thinking, but do you think that this Clayface movie could be happening to potentially set up for Clayface being the villain in The Brave and the Bold, maybe to get us invested in the character?
That's not the craziest idea. If we were playing Overreaction, I wouldn't say that's an overreaction. Now, would I put money on that and saying, yep, Clayface is going to be the villain? I'm going to guess no, but it's certainly a possibility. There's no reason why it couldn't be. Then again, I have a feeling if they're going to focus on Clayface, they might actually make him a little bit of a sympathetic character. It's very, very, very rare that they make a movie truly about the villain, right? It's very rare. And so if they do kind of portray Clayface maybe as a victim or as a little bit sympathetic, that might be difficult than making him the villain of Batman Brave and the Bold, because you wanted this ominous villain, just see him as the bad guy. So I doubt it, but it's not the craziest thought in the world. It could be what they're doing. All right, what's next?
Mad Dolphin fan says, I typically hate when shows have the obligatory flashback episode, but my God, Alien Earth's latest episode shows how to do it right. It provides so much more context to the first episode while being the most horrifying entertaining.
I'm going to tell you, I have not read, I don't read any of the questions before we do the show. I said the exact same thing. The episode started and I'm like, oh God, it's a flashback episode. Yawn. I know what happens to them. Who cares? It's irrelevant. No, it wasn't. It was fabulous television, man. That episode, I think it's the best episode of the season so far. I absolutely loved it. It was thrilling and horrifying and tense, and it changed your perspective on a couple of things. And yeah, man, I thought it was just an incredible episode. I loved it.
And I'm glad they did it, because on the first episode, I didn't roll my eyes, but I was just sort of like, huh? You're doing this weird, choppy, fast forward. Like, now they're all dead. Just move on. It kind of annoyed me.
I was okay with that.
I accepted it, but I was like,
anymore. But I was wrong, because man, that episode was incredible. All right, what's next?
5 Strong says, John, just rewatched The Matrix. Let me tell you, it's an incredibly well-made movie. The special effects for 99 are still impressive, and the martial arts sequences are truly impressive. The storyline is engaging. Fantastic movie. On to Reloaded. Well, you have fun with that one in the next.
I mean, listen, I will stand as a defender of Reloaded. I like Reloaded.
But I know where it's all heading.
Not so much the third one, but I mean, I like Reload. But yeah, that original Matrix, I mean, it's a classic. It is kind of a shame that it turned out the Wachowskis may have been a bit of a one-hit wonder, because I don't know that I've loved anything the Wachowskis did since then. But I mean, that first Matrix is just so. And by the way, I still hold to the theory today that the original Matrix movie and Terminator are a shared universe. You can think about that one for a little bit. But yeah, I think you're going to like Reloaded. I loved Reloaded, not nearly as much as the first one, but I really liked the Merovingian. I love the twins. I love, there's a lot about it. Seraph was amazing in it. But yeah, that first one's incredible. All right, what's next?
I think it's it's supposed to be Prometheus. Would you be disappointed if at some point this year James Gunn announced that Grant Gustin and Tom Cavanaugh were cast as the Flash and Reverse Flash, but not connected to the CW show?
Well, I'd be disappointed only in the sense that that's a dumb idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be disappointed. But listen, I really like Grant Gustin. And I really like the guy who played Reverse Flash, by the way, a good Canadian kid. So I mean, I like them very much, but you absolutely should not be bringing them back. Yeah, like at all. I mean, unless they were in different roles. Like you want to bring Grant Gustin as, I don't know, Ted Cord, or you want to bring in Grant Gustin as Booster Gold, or I'm all good with that. I really like Grant Gustin, and I liked him as CW's Flash, but it would be a horrendously awful idea just to bring them back as those same characters. Whether or not they were connected to the CW, it would just be a bad idea. All right, what's next?
Anonymous says, hi, John and company. Last month, you did a topic on the increase of piracy. I was going to watch Superman yesterday, both Amazon and another VOD app. I checked we're charging 15 British pounds just to rent for 2 days. I couldn't bring myself to pay that. Now, are you leading in with you pirated, or is just like you stop there?
You don't have to incriminate yourself. Listen, I was lucky at one of our movie meetups, which, by the way, we're going to be announcing the dates in the next couple of days for our movie meetups in the San Francisco area, Portland, and Seattle. So we're going to be dropping those dates here pretty soon. But I think it was at our Phoenix meetup. One of our viewers gave me a code for the digital thing, so I was able to go to the digital store, put in the code, and I was able to get Superman. But they were charging $25 to rent it and $30 to buy it, clearly being priced like, oh, just pay the $5 extra and own it. I mean, the prices are outrageous. So, but I mean, you don't need to pirate. You can just wait a little bit extra longer, and it's going to be on HBO Max.
Yeah, or go see it in theaters again. That's what some people do.
But yeah, I mean, the prices they're charging for these are completely outrageous. No doubt. I mean, that doesn't justify stealing it. I mean, a Maserati may cost a lot of money. That doesn't mean it's okay. It's like, oh, well, they charge too much, therefore it's okay for me to steal it. I'm not saying that, but yeah, the prices are outrageous. No doubt about it. All right, what's next?
Jake says, hey, John, greetings from Australia. Been watching you and Rob for 10 years, just when AMC moved to Collider. Thanks for all the great content you've provided over the years. What character would you like to see your boy Henry Cavill play in the DCU?
Well, I mean, Henry's such a good, I mean, listen, if you don't understand how good of an actor Henry Cavill is, just go back and watch The Tudors.
That's where I discovered him.
That's where I really discovered him too. It's like, holy crap, this Henry guy is really good. And then you see him in his Mission Impossible movie. I mean, guys, if you haven't seen Man from U.N.C.L.E., watch Man from U.N.C.L.E. It's kind of the main reason why I love to see him as James Bond as well. He never will be James Bond, but I mean, I would love to see it. When you have an actor who can do that much and who's that good, then it really doesn't matter what character you make him. Give him any character. He'll do well because he's a good actor. So X actor in X role, I really don't care. He's a really solid, good actor. I could see him playing just about anything and I'd be totally happy with it. All right, what's next?
Spencer Anthony, this is interesting. Hey, John, I've never seen a Daniel Day-Lewis movie. What's the best starting point? Wishing you all the best on your new van and travels. I got an idea, but what would you say?
I'm In the Name of the Father.
See,
I mean, there also Last of the Mohicans, My Left Foot, obviously Lincoln, even Thread was really good.
I'm thinking of like most sort of accessible, where it's kind of action, it's this and that, it's got good stars, whatever. Not saying it's the best, but I would say Gangs of New York is your best entry level.
That's a good one
to him. And then if you
Bill the Butcher,
yeah, and then from there you can go into like the other ones you mentioned that are a little quieter films or whatever. You know what I mean? Not that Last of the Mohicans is, but you know, my left foot, right?
I think it's My Left Foot.
Yeah. Sins of the all that stuff. So,
but the one I gotta go with, and the reason I have to go with it, is because I contend that it is the greatest performance ever given in any movie ever is not that I think it's the greatest movie ever. It's a really good movie, but I think the single greatest performance ever given by any actor in any movie is There Will Be Blood. Playing, what was his name in it? Daniel Plainview? Was that his name, character's name in it? It is, I believe it is the single, not just the best Daniel Day-Lewis performance, it is the greatest performance ever given in cinematic history. So simply because of that, by the way, Jonathan, I totally forgot about Gangs New York. Jonathan's absolutely right. That's another great one. So I would say lead off with the greatest performance of all time, which would be There Will Be Blood. And I think Jonathan's recommendation of Gangs New York is another really good one to do.
Yeah, then you can go to the quieter films and stuff like
Yeah.
Lincoln and whatever.
All right, what's next?
Blake, nope, anonymous. Who do you think will win the 2025 box office? Warner Brothers is currently number 1 with 1.6 billion. Disney is number 2 at 1.45. WB still has The Conjuring, nah. And one battle after another. Disney has Tron, Predator, Zootopia. See, you just answered the question.
I was gonna say it's not even going to be close.
It's Disney. They're going to come in like the Dodgers and win it at the end.
Yeah, it's not even going to be close. The Disney will be the studio box office champion of the year again. And by the time it's its biggest movies haven't even come out in theaters yet, and it's already just about in the number 1 spot. It won't even be close. It'll be Disney. All right, what's next?
Blake says, John, you can't retire after what James Gunn just tweeted. Man of Tomorrow, Lex in the mech suit. Come on, you better keep that can in good shape. Gunn is going to give DC fans everything they ever hoped for.
You know, I don't doubt that at all. You know, it's one of the reasons why from day one, was I expecting them to announce James Gunn as the head of DC? I wasn't expecting it. But when they did, I haven't felt that kind of optimism for DC since before it got started. I mean, really, it's just, he's the guy to do it. Now, that doesn't mean they aren't gonna hit some pitfalls. It doesn't mean they're not gonna have some obstacles. It doesn't mean they're gonna have the odd bad day at the office. They will, 100% they will. They're certainly off to a great start, but at some point they're gonna have a bad day at the office, and that's fine. But when you're looking at somebody with the overall studio experience, the guy that was not just in the MCU, he was kind of becoming James or Kevin Feige's right-hand guy, overseeing certain aspects of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. A guy, a legit filmmaker who has the pure depth of comic book knowledge that James Gunn has. And just his overall vision. Again, he will make a film eventually that I don't like. Even Spielberg has. But so far, he hasn't made a single one I haven't liked. And he's just the guy. And so far, it's working out. And I've got no reason to doubt what we're going to get from him in the future. All right, what's next?
All right. Well, this is kind of a heavy one from Kinner. And thank you for the $100 tip.
First
and foremost. But also, I'm very sorry for this. My dad passed away 3 days ago. But your show has kept me going. You also lost your mom recently, so I was wondering how you cope with your grief. Thank you.
First of all, thank you for supporting our show on that level, man. That's incredibly generous of you. And my deepest condolences to losing your dad. I for those of you who don't know, I'm sure most of you do. Just a couple months ago, I lost my mom. I'm not going to lie to you, and I've kind of hinted at this before. I haven't begun to cope with the loss of my mom. You see, I am living with the advantage/disadvantage that I am the only member of my family that lives far away from the rest of my family. Like all my family's in the Hamilton area, up in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. My siblings are all there. My aunts are there. My uncles are there. My dad is there. And so I got to be with my mom the day before and the day she died. And then I got on a plane and came home a couple of days after. And being so separated from my dad, from my siblings, from the rest of my family, losing my mom, losing my mom has remained for me a theoretical thing. Yeah, it's a fact. But I've spent a lot of years living in California, very separated from my family, right? So it hasn't felt like I live in a world that my mom isn't here anymore. And that has been a good thing in a way, that I haven't been an uncontrollable emotional mess. But it's also bad in the way, in the fact that I have acknowledged, and I know that I haven't even really begun to cope with it. I might even be in low-key denial, to be honest with you. It's not healthy. And I'm kind of planning my next trip home. And I think that trip home is going to be a mess. I'm not going to lie to you. I think whenever I get around to that next trip home, I think I'm probably going to be an absolute mess.
Well,
because I'm going to be with my dad, and I'm going to be with my sister.
And you have to face all of that.
Yeah.
I do hope that while it is a mess, that's the turmoil your body has to go through to find healing at the end of it. So that the return home, you're a little more
and I can't remember, to get to your dad, I can't remember the exact movie that it was. But there was a movie where a conversation similar to this was around. It's like, how do you deal with or avoid or whatever, the pain and whatever? And some character says, you don't, you just have to let it hit you.
Mm.
You just have to let it hit you and wash over you, and you just have to go through it. There's no going around it. There's no jumping over it. There's no digging under it. At some point, because I've been doing all that. Personally, for me, I've been doing all that. I've been going around it, going under it, jumping over it, saying, nope, nope, nope. I'm in California. It's not a real thing. Right. But I think at some point you just have to buckle up and let it hit you and just let it wash over you. Therefore, the coping with it is really the just experiencing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably something we all have to go through. And again, my deepest condolences. I can very awfully relate with what you're going through, and I'm glad our show can be here to kind of be. I know it's been very therapeutic and cathartic for me. I hope it's been able to be that for you as well. And thank you for sharing that, man. All right, what's next?
We got Curious Chris, who says, I really miss the old Stan Lee cameos in MCU films. Any particular favorites of yours? Mine was from Ant-Man 2. Well, the 60s were fun, but now I'm paying for it.
That was great. The one when he plays the old war vet in Age of Ultron was great. But the best one, I still contend to this day, the best one is Stan Lee as a strip club DJ.
Yeah.
Saying, you can't buy love, but you can rent it for $20 a song, or whatever the exact line was. It was one of the greatest lines ever, said by one of the greatest guys ever. I just don't think there will ever. I mean, Tony Stank was another really great one, but yeah, you can't buy love, but you can rent it. Strip club DJ Stan Lee is, to me, will always be the best one.
I always loved the one that stood out to me was the one from Amazing Spider-Man where Lizard and fighting in the library and he's listening to the classical music.
Yep.
I like that.
It was a janitor or something at the time.
A janitor, or he was a librarian there.
Yeah,
I can't
something
remember.
like that. All right, what's next?
Adrian O, episode 5 of Alien Earth was, in my opinion, one of the best single episodes of TV ever. It was like a horror movie in 1 hour, and the eye monster on the camera lens was brilliant.
Yeah, I don't know that I would go so far. If we were playing Overreaction, I'd say that might be an Overreaction. It's one of the best episodes of television ever. I don't know that I would say that. It's definitely one of the best episodes of television of the year. And we've had a hell of a year. We're in a year with Andor and The Pit and Penguin was this year, right? I think it was.
Yeah, I think so.
So that's saying, yeah. And again, it was an episode that started, I went, oh God, it's a flashback episode, yawn, right? And it just ended up being the best of the season and like thrilling. And I cannot wait to see where they're going to go now. All right, what's next?
Curious Chris, are there any movies that you've grown to appreciate more and more with every rewatch? For me, it was Lord of the Rings. The first time I watched it, I appreciated it from a technical standpoint, but couldn't get emotionally invested. Now I adore those films in every way.
Yeah, I mean there are a bunch of films that like for me like I just think keep getting better every time I watch them. Man of Steel is one that I mean I've always liked Man of Steel, but every time I watch it I just appreciate it more. Avengers Age, we've talked about Avengers Age of Ultron a couple times today. That's a movie that I appreciate more every time I watch it. I think it's gotten better with age as I go. Now, the biggest example for me is the one film that the first time I watched it, I hated the film. And then the second time I watched it, I'm like, what? Why? Why did I hate this? This movie's awesome. And that was Inglourious Bastards.
It's one of my favorite Tarantino's.
I think it might be my second favorite Tarantino movie. But the first time I saw it, I don't know if I was in a bad mood or what, but I hated it the first time I watched it. No idea why. Fast forward a year or so, and I'm on a date, and I've got this girl with me. She goes, I want to watch Inglourious Basterds. I'm like, okay, well, it's what the girl wants to watch. We'll watch it. And I'm watching, I'm like, is this the same movie I watched? This movie's awesome. And yeah, I just completely loved it. All right, what's next?
SB, with the NFL kickoff tomorrow, I'm sure the game will run over for the re-release of Peacemaker. You tuning into the game, I know you can watch later, but I like to watch as they come out. I'm a fan, but they suck. Oh, is that Cowboys? Because it's a star. I feel like I'm more hyped for everything DCU.
Oh, yes. How about them Cowboys? I don't know that I've ever seen a worse trade in the NFL than them just giving away Micah Parsons. Anyway, that aside. Dude, listen, I'm actually going to be in San Diego tomorrow night. So tomorrow after the show, Ann and I are hopping in the van, and we're going to drive out to San Diego for a couple of days. Number one, just because we like visiting San Diego. But number two, Ann's going to a Jonas Brothers concert.
What a shocker.
Yeah, well, big shock. Ann's going to be seeing 3 Jonas Brothers concerts in the next 3 weeks. She's seeing them in San Diego. She's seeing them in Los Angeles at the Intuit Dome. And then she's seeing, I believe, in Anaheim. Anyway.
Whenever I just see like promotional material for them, I'm like, oh, Ann's band.
Yeah, it's the Ann band. It's Ann band. What was I going with that? Oh, yes. So we're going to hop in the car, drive out to San Diego. And tomorrow night, Ann's going to go to the Jonas Brothers concert with our friend and the producer of Designing Hollywood, the creator and producer of Designing Hollywood, Martika Ibarra. Her and Ann are really tight. So the two of them, while the two of them go off to watch the Jonas Brothers concerts, Cake by the Ocean. So they're going to go do that. And we are going to be by the ocean. I am going to be sitting down with a couple of Diet Pepsis, a couple of Zevias, big bag of Doritos, and I have a lot of TV to watch. I'm going to watch the football game. All right, that's the first thing I'm going to watch is the football game. Then I'm going to watch Peacemaker. And then I'm going to watch the season finale of Dexter Resurrection. It is a busy, busy night for me with my TV watching while Ann and Martika are off at the Jonas Brothers concert. So yeah, I will be watching all of that tomorrow night. And then Friday morning, I'll be doing the show remotely from the van. So there you go. But yeah, that's what I'm doing tomorrow night. All right, what's next?
Doug, have you seen last week's Strange New Worlds episode yet? I have never laughed as hard in any previous Trek movie or series as I did every time Patton Oswalt was on screen. He deserves an Emmy nom for guest appearance. The post-credit scene was the best part.
I have not seen the new episode yet, and I didn't even know Patton Oswalt was in it. So I guess now I do. I do know I am a number of episodes. I think I'm almost caught up. Listen, I gotta say, they've got some stuff. The Star Trek stuff has got some hit and miss stuff. Strange New Worlds is a fabulous show. It's real. Anson Mount has been a terrific lead for the show. I really like the supporting characters. The guy they got in to play the younger James Kirk has been fantastic. So no, I've not seen the newest episode yet, but I will get on that. I might actually do that tonight because I totally forgot the new episode was out. All right, what's next?
We got Tyler B, who says, happy that they're following up on the success of Superman. I would love to see Lex in a tangible suit of armor rather than Iron Man CG suit.
it's gonna be a very difficult thing to make his battle armor not CGI. That's just a little not practical. It's probably gonna have to be pretty heavy CGI, and that's fine because they're gonna make it look awesome. And I think they're going to make it look pretty comic accurate. I think it's going to be the thing I mean, obviously they're going to adapt it to look better in live action for sure. But yeah, I think it's going to be really good. So many things about that announcement I loved. I love that we saw Lex in the battle armor. I love that we have to wait less than 2 years for the new movie. I love that we've officially got a title for it and we've got a release date for it. I mean, very happy day for me today. Very happy day. All right, what's next?
All right, our final four. Gavin B. Now, John, how good does it feel with Superman not to have to wait 5 to 6 years for a sequel like Marvel does now?
Listen, James Gunn has learned so many lessons from his time over at Marvel. Because I'm sorry, where the hell is Shang-Chi 2? That is one of the best movies you guys have made since Endgame. And where the hell is it? We don't even have so much of a sniff as to when we're getting a Shang-Chi 2. Right? It's just, it does seem to be the way. And you know, that's part of the problem. Once your cinematic universe gets so big, it's like you've only got so many movies you can make a year, and we've got 500 characters now, and I get it. But yeah, man, the fact that we don't have to wait 4 years for the next Superman movie, we're literally getting it under 2 years from now. Like not even 24, like 22 months from now, we're going to get a new Superman movie. I couldn't be happier about it. I think that's awesome. All right, what's next?
Your Disease. This is actually kind of a good theory. Peacemaker season 2 theory. Rick Flag will be desperate to catch Peacemaker and release Lex. Use him because he knows about quantum tech. An unlikely hero will assist Peacemaker, and Lex will remain free for Man of Tomorrow with immunity.
I like the way you're thinking.
I
don't think they're going to do that.
I don't think so much he releases him, but in using him, Lex could find a way to escape.
I mean, I could see him going into jail, you know, sitting down across the table and having a conversation with him. But it's here, they face the potential problem that like WandaVision created for Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. For the people who watch the Marvel movies but don't watch the Disney Plus shows, and there are a bunch of those, last thing they knew, they watched a Marvel movie with Wanda, yay, our hero! And then they went to go see Doctor Strange. It's like, wait, when did Wanda become a bad guy? Right? For the moviegoers, you don't want to go to see Superman. Okay, it ends with Lex being locked in jail, and then you go to your next movie, and Lex is just out running around as if nothing had happened. You don't want to make it so people have to do homework and able to be to know what's going on. So I could see Rick going and talking to Lex. I don't think they'll do such a major plot point as to release him in a Peacemaker show. I don't know. It's a really interesting theory. I like the way you're thinking. Maybe that is what they do. All right, what's next?
SB, if Supergirl and all the DCU projects are cooking, does Man of Tomorrow make a Billy?
It's too early to tell. Now, so by the time we get there, we will have had Superman, Supergirl, and Clayface, right? Is the fourth film in a position that it can be $1 billion film? It's possible. It all depends on how good Supergirl and Clayface are. Not how well they do, how good they are. If Supergirl is really good, if Lanterns is really good, if Clayface is really good, these are a lot of big ifs. But yeah, maybe they could hit their first $1 billion film by then. It's possible. I got to see how these other projects turn out first, because like, listen, if Lanterns isn't all that good, and if Supergirl isn't all that good, they're going to lose a lot of momentum very quickly. But could be, we'll see. But let's ask that question again, like a year from now after Supergirl comes out. All right, what's next?
We got, whoops, wrong one. Timmy Blue Eyes. Hi, John. Not sure if you have a movie locked down for San Francisco, but I would recommend either One Battle After Another, September 24th, shot completely on 70 millimeter. Another would be Avatar Way of Water, releases in IMAX October 3rd, we have the second largest IMAX.
Again, it's going to be difficult to know what movie we're going to do in San Francisco until I've locked down the exact day. Because, I can't plan a movie and then I realize I'm going to be there when that movie isn't open yet. So again, in the next 48 hours, we'll announce dates for San Francisco, or at least the immediate area of San Francisco, Portland, and Seattle. Those are coming here pretty soon, so just keep your guys' eyes open for it. All right, what's next?
We got Ping.
Is this our last one?
Yeah, this is our last one. Ping Pao says, "Hey John and Rob, question: have you heard of the voice of Hind Rajab and all the buzz it's getting at the Venice Film Festival? What's the deal with this, and are you excited for it? Thanks."
Never heard of it.
I just looked it up. It follows the it's like the tragic life of someone who lost their life in the Gaza Strip. So it seems like a very heavy movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
But no, I as of right now in this moment, I've not heard of it. So I can't. I'd be lying to you if I said I was excited about it when I haven't heard of it yet. So, but thank you for putting it on the radar.
That's it.
All right, guys, and that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in the questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the show, thank you guys so much for your support. Also, big thanks to Robert Meyer Burnett, to our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
See you guys later.
My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.